Space was silent, but something was terribly wrong. Captain Jake Morgan felt it deep in his bones as he stared into the eerie darkness, his pulse quickening with unease. Ships had vanished without a trace, and whispers spoke of an enemy no one dared confront. Yet, no one knew what hid behind the shadows of space until now. What Jake and his crew were about to uncover would change humanity forever, because today was the day they discovered that some mysteries were never meant to be disturbed. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel by clicking the car button on the top right corner now, and hit the notification bell so you can get amazing daily stories as and when published. Please do comment your views about the story or any topic that you want to get a story on. We'll make it happen. Let's dive into the story. Space was quiet, far too quiet. The kind of silence that set nerves on edge and filled seasoned captains like Jake Morgan with unease. On the command deck of the massive Terran battleship, TSS Valor, Jake stood staring into the endless darkness beyond the panoramic viewport. At 32, he'd seen enough of space's secrets to know that quiet rarely meant peace. He folded muscular arms across his chest, eyes narrowed thoughtfully beneath a brow creased with concern. Behind him, the gentle hum of equipment felt oddly loud amidst the silence. "Strange, isn't it, Captain?" came a smooth, confident voice, slicing gently through his thoughts. Jake turned slightly to see Elena Brooks stepping beside him, her movements graceful, her posture assertive. Elena was 30, strikingly beautiful, with sharp features framed by shoulder-length, dark hair. Her sleek, bold suit hugged her powerful figure, marking her clearly as someone who belonged in command. He nodded slowly, eyes still fixed on the emptiness outside. "Too strange, Elena," Jake replied, his voice low and tense. "There should be patrol ships, communication signals, something. But it's like the entire sector just vanished." Elena's eyes narrowed, her voice dropping to a cautious whisper. "You think someone or something did this deliberately?" "That's exactly what I'm afraid of," Jake answered softly, his jaw tight. A sudden, urgent beep shattered the quiet. Both officers spun sharply toward the tactical station. Ensign Marcus Hill, his young face pale beneath short, sandy hair, tapped quickly at the console, urgency flaring in his voice. "Captain, sensors detecting multiple unknown vessels, closing fast." Jake strode quickly to his command chair, eyes blazing with controlled urgency. "Battle stations, bring up shields and ready all weapons systems, now." The entire bridge sprang to life instantly, crew members racing to their stations with trained efficiency. Screens flashed warnings and data flooded displays. "Captain, they're emerging from some kind of cloaking technology," Marcus called out, eyes wide with disbelief. Through the viewport, sleek, dark silhouettes materialized from nothingness. Their hulls, obsidian black, seemed to absorb starlight itself, creating shadows against the already dark void. There was something menacing about their appearance, silent predators stalking their prey. Elena's expression hardened as she took her position at the tactical console. "They're surrounding us. Clearly aggressive," she observed, voice calm but edged with steel. Jake's pulse quickened as a cold, unfamiliar dread settled into his chest. He drew a steadying breath, gripping the armrest of his chair tightly. "Hail them immediately. Let's try diplomacy first." Marcus activated the communication channel swiftly. "Channel open, Captain." A flicker ran across the main screen, and suddenly, a face appeared, a figure alien and imposing, with dark, angular features and eyes glowing a chilling shade of violet. The creature leaned forward, voice filled with cruel confidence. "Terrans," it sneered, cold amusement curling the edges of its mouth. "You are trespassing in Dominion space. Surrender immediately, and your destruction shall be swift." Jake met the alien's gaze evenly, eyes blazing defiantly. "We seek no conflict," he replied firmly, voice steady and powerful. "But we don't surrender either. Identify yourself." The alien commander laughed, a harsh, mocking sound that echoed menacingly through the bridge. "I am Commander Vax of the Ryloth Dominion. No one defies us. No one survives us." The screen went dark abruptly, leaving a chilling silence behind. Jake glanced at Elena, who returned his gaze with fierce determination. "Captain," she prompted, her voice confident and resolute. Jake straightened his shoulders, eyes burning brightly with purpose. "They think humans are weak. Let's prove them very, very wrong." He leaned forward, voice steady as steel. "All hands, prepare for battle." The Valor shook violently as the Dominion vessels unleashed their first wave of attacks. Explosions erupted along the shields, lighting up the bridge in bursts of fiery orange and vivid blue. Jake gripped his command chair tightly, his heart pounding like a war drum in his chest. Shields at 80% and holding. Marcus shouted, panic edging into his voice as sparks rained down from a nearby console. Elena swiftly brushed stray hair from her face, her sharp eyes locked on tactical screens. Her slender fingers danced expertly over the controls, launching precise countermeasures. "Returning fire now, Captain." Outside, bright streaks of light surged forward, colliding into the Obsidian Dominion ships. Two vessels exploded spectacularly, breaking apart and scattering debris into the void. Yet, immediately, more appeared from behind them, relentless and seemingly endless. "They're testing us," Jake realized aloud, voice tense with suspicion, "or distracting us." As if on cue, the communication screen flickered back to life. Commander Vax reappeared, his cold, violet eyes narrowing dangerously, a cruel smile playing on his alien lips. "You fight better than expected, Terrans," Vax mocked, his voice dripping with contempt. "Yet it's pointless. You're outnumbered and outmatched. Surrender is your only mercy." Jake leaned forward sharply, eyes blazing with defiance. "We've barely started, Commander. You underestimate human determination." Vax laughed bitterly, his gaze piercing through the screen. "Determination is meaningless against superior power," he spat contemptuously. "Your resistance will only prolong your agony." The screen abruptly went dark, leaving a tense silence filled with unanswered questions. Jake glanced sharply toward Elena, noting her fierce expression. "Elena, any weaknesses identified yet?" Her fingers flew rapidly over the controls, scanning quickly through incoming data. She shook her head slightly, frustration shadowing her face. "Not yet, Captain. Their armor seems resistant to our standard weapons." Jake nodded, eyes narrowing thoughtfully. He activated the intercom, voice calm but commanding. "Kayla, how soon until you can get us additional firepower?" Chief Engineer Kayla Reed's voice crackled through, determined and fiery. "Give me 5 minutes, Captain. I'm rerouting power to the main cannons." "Hurry, Kayla," Jake urged. "We're running out of time." Another heavy impact rattled the bridge, nearly knocking Marcus from his chair. Smoke rose from the engineering console, and alarms blared wildly. Marcus coughed, waving smoke from his eyes. "Captain, shields at 50%. Jake's jaw tightened, eyes fixed forward. "Evasive maneuvers, pattern delta, keep them off balance." The Valor surged forward, twisting gracefully through incoming fire, its massive hull defying gravity with incredible agility. Elena's eyes widened slightly, impressed yet focused. "Good flying, Lieutenant Miller." Jake praised the helmsman. "Keep it up." "Yes, sir," Miller responded proudly, determination evident in his voice. A sudden, strange energy pulse from the Dominion fleet caught Elena's attention. Her face paled slightly as her fingers froze above her controls. "Captain, I'm detecting a massive power surge from the Dominion flagship," she warned urgently. They're charging something big. Jake spun toward Marcus, urgency flaring in his gaze. Marcus, divert all available power to forward shields. Now. As Marcus complied frantically, Elena moved swiftly to Jake's side, her tone sharp but steady. Captain, whatever they're planning, it'll hit hard. Jake met her intense gaze, confidence blazing defiantly in his eyes. Then we'll hit back harder. A brilliant flash of violet energy streaked from the Dominion flagship, slamming violently into Valor's forward shields. The ship bucked harshly under the impact, sending crew members tumbling to the deck. Jake steadied himself quickly, gripping the armrests of his command chair so tightly his knuckles whitened. Damage report. Jake shouted urgently above blaring alarms and hissing sparks. Marcus pulled himself upright, wiping blood from a small cut above his eyebrow, eyes wide with alarm as he checked the screens. Captain, forward shields down to 25%, he called out desperately. Another hit like that, and we're done. Jake gritted his teeth, heart pounding fiercely. Elena spun toward him, her fierce gaze unwavering despite the chaos around her. Captain, Kayla's just signaled, heavy cannons ready to fire. Elena shouted, voice ringing clear through the noise. Then let's show them we mean business. Jake growled, his voice fierce and commanding. Fire everything we've got. Maximum power. Elena slammed her hand firmly onto the firing controls, releasing an intense barrage of powerful blue-white beams. The massive cannons roared to life, casting their brilliant glow across the bridge. Outside, Dominion vessels shattered under the relentless assault, exploding spectacularly into bursts of bright flame and debris. Yes, Marcus shouted triumphantly. We're pushing them back, but Jake's eyes narrowed cautiously as he watched the battle unfold. Dominion ships regrouped quickly, forming a defensive formation around their flagship, which loomed ominously, untouched by the Valor's cannons. Not yet, Jake muttered darkly. They're guarding something important, something we haven't seen yet. Elena glanced sharply toward him, realization dawning in her intense gaze. You think it's more than just a battle? She questioned, her voice tense with suspicion. Maybe they're hiding something valuable. Jake nodded grimly. Exactly. They're taking heavy losses, but still haven't retreated. It doesn't make sense unless... A sudden transmission broke through the static, cutting off Jake's thoughts. Commander Vax appeared once again, his alien face twisted into a dark sneer of contemptuous rage. You Terrans are annoyingly resilient, he snarled bitterly. But your resistance ends here. Behold the true power of the Dominion. Behind Vax, the flagship's hull rippled strangely, transforming as immense energy surged outward. The ship shifted, unfolding into a massive cannon bristling with glowing, pulsating weapons. Jake's pulse quickened sharply, dread pooling coldly in his stomach. Elena, scan that weapon now. Jake ordered urgently. Her fingers flew across the controls, and within moments her face paled, eyes widening in shock. Captain, it's an antimatter cannon, she gasped. If that fires, we won't survive the blast. Marcus' youthful face drained completely of color, his hands trembling above his console. Captain, Marcus whispered, voice barely audible, we can't outrun that weapon. Jake stood tall, forcing calm into his voice even as his heart hammered inside his chest. He addressed the crew firmly, strength radiating from every word. We won't run, he declared fiercely. We're humanity's shield. We stand our ground and protect each other. Elena, Kayla, focus every bit of power into our shields and weapons. Marcus, transmit distress signals. Let Earth know what's happening here. Marcus nodded, determination fighting the fear in his eyes. Elena's expression hardened, confidence returning stronger than ever. We stand together, Captain, Elena affirmed defiantly. We're with you until the end. Jake nodded gravely, eyes fixed forward, voice quiet but filled with unwavering strength. "This isn't our end," he promised, fierce certainty blazing in his gaze. "We'll make sure of it." The Dominion flagship hovered menacingly, its antimatter cannon glowing brighter with each passing second. The crew aboard Valor rushed frantically, rerouting power and bracing for the imminent attack. Suddenly, a bright flash of sparks erupted from a nearby station. Chief Engineer Kayla Reed stumbled onto the bridge, coughing and waving away smoke, her fiery red hair smudged with soot. She rushed directly to Jake's side, green eyes wild with urgency. "Captain, there's something you've got to see," she gasped breathlessly. "That Dominion wreckage we pulled in. Their tech is way beyond anything we've ever seen. It doesn't match their current weaponry at all." Jake spun to face her, confusion and intrigue battling in his intense gaze. "What do you mean, Kayla?" he asked sharply. Kayla leaned closer, lowering her voice urgently, her expression filled with nervous excitement. "They're ships. They're ancient, Captain. Modified, but ancient." Kayla emphasized dramatically. "They're using technology that's been hidden, kept secret somehow. It's like they're guarding something huge, something bigger than we thought." Elena joined them quickly, eyes narrowed in suspicion. "Captain, it explains their behavior," Elena reasoned swiftly. "Maybe they're afraid we'll discover what they're hiding." Jake's eyes burned brighter with determination. "Then we need answers, and fast," he declared firmly. "Kayla, analyze that tech immediately. Find anything useful." Kayla nodded, her expression fierce and resolute. "Already on it, Captain," she assured, rushing back toward engineering. Meanwhile, Marcus stared anxiously at the massive Dominion cannon, still glowing brighter on the view screen. "Captain," Marcus called out fearfully, "the antimatter cannon is fully charged. They're about to fire." Jake clenched his fists tightly, jaw tightening in grim determination. "Evasive maneuvers. Brace for impact," he commanded loudly. The Valor surged abruptly sideways as the Dominion cannon unleashed its devastating beam of energy. The lethal blast narrowly missed, streaking violently past the battleship, leaving behind a glowing trail of cosmic fire. Marcus exhaled shakily, visibly relieved, shoulders sagging slightly. "That was way too close," Marcus murmured nervously. Elena turned sharply toward Jake, urgency filling her voice. "Captain, they're charging again," she warned swiftly. "If Kayla doesn't find something soon," as if summoned, Kayla's voice crackled through the comm system, excitement surging clearly in her words. "Captain, I've got it," Kayla shouted triumphantly. "Their weapons use a quantum resonance field, unstable at high frequencies. A strong enough pulse could disable them completely." Jake's eyes widened sharply, hope sparking fiercely within him. "Can we create that pulse quickly, Kayla?" he demanded. Kayla's voice was strong, confident, her reply instant. "Yes, Captain. I'm ready on your command." Jake met Elena's fierce gaze, voice firm and decisive. "Elena, transmit pulse coordinates directly to engineering," he ordered swiftly. Elena's fingers flew swiftly over controls, her voice steady, focused, yet hopeful. "Coordinates sent, pulse ready." Jake stood tall, heart pounding with tense excitement. "Fire now, Kayla," he shouted firmly. Instantly, a powerful burst of energy erupted outward from Valor, flooding across the Dominion fleet. The enemy vessels shimmered briefly before their weapons flickered and failed, the massive cannon sputtering uselessly. Cheers erupted spontaneously from the crew. Marcus punched the air enthusiastically, relief flooding his youthful face. "Yes, we did it." Jake allowed a brief, proud smile before growing serious again, turning quickly to Elena. "Elena, scan their flagship immediately," he instructed urgently. "Find out exactly what they're protecting." She nodded instantly, intense eyes scanning swiftly through data pouring across her screen. Captain, I've got something strange. Elena paused, her expression shifting from confusion to stunned disbelief. There's a huge power signature coming from deep inside their ship. It's alive, Jake. Jake's blood ran cold, voice dropping low with shock and curiosity. Alive, he whispered cautiously. You mean they're hiding a living creature? Elena turned toward him, her eyes wide with awe and horror. Yes, Captain, she replied gravely, voice shaking slightly. They've captured something incredibly powerful, and they're using it against us. Jake stared at Elena, disbelief and awe battling in his eyes as he processed her shocking revelation. A living creature? Jake echoed slowly, voice barely audible amid the buzz of the bridge. Elena, are you certain? Elena met his intense gaze, determination mixed with an undeniable urgency. Absolutely, Captain, she insisted firmly, pointing at the pulsing energy readings. Whatever they've captured is conscious. Its energy signature fluctuates like a heartbeat. Jake's fists clenched tightly, anger darkening his face. They're using it as a weapon, enslaving it. Jake said bitterly, the injustice clearly boiling his blood. We have to help. Marcus, overhearing their tense conversation, spun quickly from his console, expression anxious. Captain, if we go closer, they'll tear us apart, he warned urgently. Jake shook his head firmly, eyes blazing with resolve. We can't leave it behind, Marcus, Jake declared strongly. We're Terrans. We stand for freedom. Whatever this creature is, it's innocent. Marcus swallowed hard but nodded slowly, determination flickering back into his youthful face. I'm with you, Captain. Jake glanced quickly toward Elena, voice firm and resolute. Get a boarding team ready. We'll create a distraction. You'll sneak aboard and free whatever they've captured. Elena's fierce eyes gleamed, confidence radiating from her graceful stance. Consider it done, she said decisively, turning sharply toward the bridge exit. Suddenly, Kayla rushed back onto the bridge, still breathless but filled with renewed excitement. Captain, I've adjusted our shields and weapons, she reported swiftly, eyes bright with enthusiasm. We can punch through their defenses, at least for a short while. Perfect timing, Kayla, Jake replied, giving her an approving nod. Coordinate with Elena's team. Keep them safe at all costs. Understood, Captain, Kayla replied confidently, moving swiftly alongside Elena. As Elena's team prepared rapidly near the shuttle bay, Jake watched from the command deck, heart racing with anticipation. Captain, Marcus called urgently. Dominion fleet reforming. They're moving to intercept. Jake straightened sharply, his voice steady and calm despite his pounding heart. Then let's give Elena the distraction she needs, Jake ordered decisively. All weapons fire on Dominion flagship. Hold nothing back. Instantly, the Valor unleashed a thunderous barrage, bright beams slicing through space, crashing violently against Dominion shields. Explosions erupted in bright, cascading flashes, shaking enemy ships fiercely. Amidst the chaos, Elena and her boarding team quietly launched their stealth shuttle. Her voice crackled over Jake's comm, clear and unwavering. We're in flight, Captain, Elena reported calmly. Approaching Dominion flagship now. Jake's eyes fixed firmly on the tiny vessel, anxiety tightening his chest despite his composed demeanor. Stay safe, Elena, he replied quietly. We're counting on you. As Elena's shuttle disappeared within the Dominion vessel, Marcus gasped suddenly, eyes widening sharply. Captain, energy spike on Dominion ship. They've detected Elena's shuttle. Jake's fists slammed down in frustration, determination hardening his voice. Keep firing. Distract them at all costs. Inside the Dominion flagship, Elena swiftly guided her team through narrow corridors glowing with eerie violet energy. She paused sharply, sensing movement ahead. "Stay sharp," she whispered tensely, signaling her team forward. Suddenly, Dominion soldiers emerged from the shadows, weapons drawn. Elena moved instantly, graceful yet fierce, her movements precise and swift as she returned fire. "Cover each other," Elena shouted, voice commanding yet controlled. "Move forward." After a fierce skirmish, Elena reached a massive chamber pulsing with vibrant, captivating energy. At the center stood Commander Vax, eyes filled with fury and contempt. "You meddling Terran," Vax snarled, voice filled with venomous hatred. "You've sealed your fate." Elena straightened proudly, fearless defiance gleaming in her eyes. "No," she shot back sharply, unwavering in her resolve. "We're ending your cruelty. Whatever you've enslaved, it ends now." Vax laughed bitterly, voice echoing ominously throughout the chamber. "You have no idea what you're unleashing." Elena squared her shoulders, stepping forward confidently into the eerie glow of the chamber, eyes locked unwaveringly on Commander Vax. Her team fanned out behind her, weapons drawn, muscles tense with anticipation. "What exactly am I unleashing, Commander?" Elena demanded sharply, her voice steady yet laced with defiant curiosity. "Afraid to admit you've been enslaving a being far more powerful than yourselves?" Vax's violet eyes flared in rage, lips curling into a sinister sneer. "You think you're heroes?" He spat venomously. "Fools! This creature is power incarnate, unstoppable. Controlling it is the only way to survive." Elena shook her head, eyes narrowing angrily, her voice echoing with conviction. "Survival doesn't justify cruelty," she countered firmly. "We won't stand by while you torture this being for your selfish purposes." Without warning, Vax lunged forward, weapon drawn, unleashing a flurry of laser fire. Elena dodged gracefully, returning fire swiftly, precision guiding her every move. The chamber erupted into chaos, laser beams crisscrossing wildly, shadows dancing frantically along the walls. "Take cover," Elena shouted urgently to her team, voice ringing sharply above the noise. "We need to reach the core." Ducking behind a glowing console, Elena caught her breath, heart hammering as laser blasts scorched the air inches from her face. Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell slid beside her, eyes wide yet determined. "Elena, the core's directly behind Vax," Sarah pointed out tensely. "There's no way through without taking him down." Elena's jaw tightened resolutely, determination burning fiercely in her eyes. "Then let's give him exactly what he deserves," she declared boldly, signaling swiftly to her team. "Cover me. I'll handle Vax myself." Sarah hesitated briefly, anxiety flickering across her face. "Be careful, Elena." Elena gave a confident nod, fierce yet reassuring. "Always am." Bursting from cover, Elena charged straight toward Vax, her movements fluid, controlled, and deadly precise. Vax spun toward her in shock, barely deflecting her powerful strike. "You Terrans don't know when to quit." Vax roared furiously. Elena's eyes flashed with fearless determination, her voice cool yet fiercely defiant. "And you don't know when you're defeated." They traded blows swiftly, laser blasts sizzling around them, each strike ringing sharply through the chaotic chamber. Elena moved gracefully, her agile form dodging expertly, wearing Vax down with precise attacks. Vax stumbled backward, breathing heavily, violet eyes blazing with desperate fury. "You'll doom yourselves," he hissed, voice filled with spiteful bitterness. "No, Commander," Elena countered boldly, her voice echoing powerfully throughout the chamber. "We're saving ourselves, and you're a victim." In a swift, decisive movement, Elena disarmed Vax, sending his weapon clattering across the chamber floor. Vax collapsed, defeated and humiliated, glaring bitterly up at Elena. You have no idea what you've done, Vax whispered darkly. Ignoring him, Elena swiftly moved toward the glowing core. It pulsed brightly, resonating with a gentle rhythm that seemed alive, aware, and almost pleading. Captain, Elena called urgently intercom, voice steady yet filled with cautious awe. I'm at the core. Ready your weapons. Fire when I give the signal. Jake's voice came back instantly, strong and clear, filled with confidence and relief. Ready and waiting, Elena, just say the word. Elena stepped closer, her hand reaching gently toward the glowing core, her voice softening as she addressed the radiant energy before her. I don't know if you understand me, she said kindly, sincerity clear in her voice, but we're here to free you. You deserve better than this. To her astonishment, the energy pulsed softly, warmth washing gently over her, gratitude filling her mind unmistakably. Elena, Sarah called urgently. Dominion reinforcements incoming. Elena nodded swiftly, eyes narrowed in sharp determination. She activated her comm again, voice strong and clear. Jake now, fire everything. Set this being free. As the Valor's powerful beams surged forward, Elena braced herself, eyes fiercely locked onto the radiant core, ready to face whatever awaited. A massive surge of energy blasted through the Dominion ship as Valor's cannons struck precisely, shaking the chamber violently. Elena shielded her eyes from the intense, blinding flash, heart hammering rapidly in her chest. Slowly, the glow dimmed, revealing a dazzling, radiant form floating gracefully above the shattered core, a breathtaking creature of pure, luminous energy. Its gentle radiance illuminated the entire room, casting a soft, calming warmth that chased away the shadows. Thank you. The being's voice resonated gently inside Elena's mind, soothing yet immensely powerful. You have freed me from darkness. Elena stood speechless for a moment, eyes wide with awe, feeling the warmth of the being's presence embrace her. Around her, even her battle-hardened team lowered their weapons, mesmerized by the incredible sight. We only did what was right, Elena finally managed, her voice trembling slightly with emotion. You deserve freedom. I will remember your kindness. Humans, the entity assured softly, voice filled with gratitude. You have given hope back to the stars. On the Valor's bridge, Jake stared in amazement as the Dominion flagship shimmered brilliantly, transforming before his eyes into a cascade of pure light. The remaining Dominion fleet rapidly retreated, their fear and confusion obvious. Captain, Dominion vessels withdrawing. Marcus shouted excitedly, a broad, relieved grin spreading across his youthful face. We did it. Jake exhaled deeply, feeling immense relief flood through him. No, Jake corrected gently, voice firm yet thoughtful. Elena did it. Suddenly, Elena's voice crackled urgently through the calm, relief and warmth clear in her words. Captain, we're safe. The being is free. It was never our enemy. It was a prisoner. Jake's expression softened with deep pride, his voice strong and clear. Outstanding work, Elena, he responded warmly. Let's get you and your team back home. Moments later, Elena and her team returned safely aboard Valor, greeted by the crew's thunderous applause. Jake stepped forward immediately, his steady gaze locking warmly onto Elena's radiant face. You took quite the risk back there, Jake said softly, admiration clear in his eyes. Elena smiled gently, confidence and humility mixing beautifully in her expression. It was worth it, Captain, she replied warmly. We showed the Dominion, and ourselves, that courage is stronger than fear. Before Jake could respond, Kayla rushed toward them, eyes sparkling with excitement. Captain, the entity left something behind. A message, Kayla announced eagerly, holding up a softly glowing data crystal. It wanted us to understand its purpose. Jake nodded thoughtfully, carefully accepting the crystal, curiosity burning fiercely in his gaze. "Let's find out together," he suggested firmly. As the crew gathered around, Jake activated the crystal. Instantly, a gentle voice filled the room, the entity's soothing tone resonating deeply. "Humans, your compassion and bravery have restored balance to this galaxy." The entity spoke softly. "The Dominion enslaved me, seeking absolute power. My true purpose is to protect life, not destroy it." Jake and Elena exchanged a meaningful glance, understanding dawning fully within their shared silence. "You've shown the galaxy the strength of your hearts," the entity continued warmly. "Now, the Dominion understands they are not unchallengeable. They will hesitate, knowing humanity guards this corner of the universe." As the voice faded, a profound silence fell over the crew. Marcus was the first to break it, awe and enthusiasm mixing in his youthful voice. "We changed the galaxy today, didn't we?" Jake smiled, pride radiating strongly from his calm expression. "We did more than that, Marcus," he said confidently. "We reminded everyone that strength isn't about weapons. It's about courage, compassion, and unity." Elena stepped forward gently, her voice filled with hope and quiet determination. "And we proved that even against impossible odds, humanity will always stand firm." Together, Jake and Elena gazed through Valor's viewport at the endless expanse of stars, feeling the weight of their victory settle warmly upon them. It was clear their journey had only just begun, but now, the entire galaxy knew that no one was beyond challenge. Not while a Terran battleship sailed proudly among the stars. Here is the story ends. If you enjoyed and want to watch more thrilling sci-fi adventures, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Dive into epic battles, explore distant galaxies, and join brave heroes as they fight for survival against impossible odds. Let us know in comments if you want next chapters to publish soon. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and become part of the journey. Together, we'll keep the last light burning. Subscribe now and let the adventure continue.